fabulous, fabulous day. Give me just a second here. Let me verify everything's got noise. And let's see. Yep, we do. Okay. Get that somewhere out of the way there where I can still see it. Hey, Caden. Hey, 351 Cleveland. Good to see everybody. Glad to have you in here. Hope everybody is doing amazing. And Caden, have I got news for you? There'll be a video coming out about it, but I figured I'd share it with you since I know you care. Hey, Legendary Princess. Hope you're having a fabulous day. So, PC Fun. I contacted them about the Chaos Pro 50 because y'all know I don't like the bait clicker. It's not loud enough, which is interesting because I actually put it up against a like a decimal meter on my phone and put it against the XS and the Alijo's Alijo's 400, the Catfish Special, and they were all fairly close. So I think it's the way our ears hear it, or the way my ears hear it. Anyway, but I contacted them. First big news: Chaos Pro 60 coming out next summer, confirmed by our friends at PC Fun. And the Chaos Pro 50 in mid to late September, they're going to have an upgraded version that will have a louder clicker by about 11 decibels. Hey, Venus, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So I think that's fabulous news. So in my never-ending quest to have more rigs than I'll ever need, so I got some of these. These are ADOT laser sharp Circle C's from Eagle Claw. And then I got some laser sharp Circle C 25 or size 12-aught. Sorry, quantity 25. So as you can see, there's a hefty difference, but both of them are that kale style. And the size 12-aught is not offset, whereas the size 8-aught is. Now the size 8-aught is pretty sharp. Size 12-aught, not so much. So first thing I'm going to have to do is sharpen them. And if you've ever had to deal with sharpening circle hooks, they aren't as easy as sharpening like a J hook because of the turn in them, or the bends or whatever. Hey, Jason, welcome in, welcome in. Venus, my day was fantabulous. Hey, Real Life 423, appreciate you joining me. So I'm starting off, I'm going to go ahead and sharpen some of these hooks because I'm disappointed that the 12-aughts aren't sharp out of the package. But then again, for what I pay for them, I guess I can put a little extra effort into these things. But I do not like sharpening hooks, especially circle hooks. What do I look for in a man anyway? Well, Keno, I'll tell you what I do. First, I look for one that's not a homophobic prick and who doesn't, ask really retarded questions. Did I say retarded? I meant retarded. Perhaps give your mom her phone back, see how she's doing in life. Hope she, has a sibling of yours is more intelligent. That would be great. But, anyway, see you, big boy. You get one chance for crap like that on this channel. I don't know why. I don't know why you are depriving yourself of the opportunity of actually meeting some really cool people here and just behaving. There are some really intelligent people that come to my chats, not me, but some of the other people that come in are doggone intelligent. Like you got 351 Cleveland. That man can teach you how to catch some crappie like nobody's business, but you will never know that because you came in here and decided to stick your thumb up your ass. So there you go. Well, hello, Dex. I'm not sure where Ram Ranch is or what Ram Ranch is, but let's just hope there's no dirty deeds done with sheep. So, they say that famous people die in threes, and I've never believed that. Hey, Noah, welcome in. I've never been I'm not superstitious. I'm not even partially stitious. My day is going great, Noah. Appreciate you asking. But, we lose Ozzy Osbourne. Then we lost Malcolm Jamal Warner. And today we lost Hulk Hogan. And I mean, if that's not a series of three, I don't know what is. And I think they were each one day after each other, which is, again, interesting. And I kind of feel bad for Malcolm Jamal Warner because I think he got lost in the shuffle a little bit with, an icon of Ozzy's stature and a household name such as Hulk Hogan being sandwiched between those two. I mean, again, Malcolm Jamal Warner was, he played Theo on the Huxtables, that show, back when Bill Cosby was not known to be the horrible human being he turned out to be. Apparently, he still was the horrible human being back then, but still, it hadn't come to light. Yeah, Ozzy passed, and then Malcolm Jamal Warner passed, and then today Hulk Hogan passed, or at least that's when those were announced. So it's kind of, yeah. Hopefully, that's all we're going to lose for a little bit. And I'll tell you the celebrity death that hit me the hardest, which really surprised me. John Ritter back in the day. I am actually going to tie some catfish rigs. Get prepared for going catfishing. Not the kind that MTV cares about, but the other kind. And John Ritter, as some of you probably know, he played on Three's Company and Three's a Crowd and 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. And died of a brain aneurysm, or was it heart? It was an aneurysm of some sort, or maybe or aortic dissect. I don't know. Anyway, that one hit me, and I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't realize that one was going to hit me. Like a lot of people, when Robin Williams passed, it impacted them. It felt personal to them. And, while I appreciated all of Ozzy's music, or some of Ozzy's music at least, I'm not what you would call a huge Ozzy fan. So, his passing did not really hit me, Same Malcolm Jamal Warner and really Hulk Hogan. The only thing that surprised me about him was the fact that he was as young as he is. He was only like 70, 71, 77, one of the two. Malcolm Jamal Warner, of course, was younger, but I just haven't seen much out of him, seen much of his works in many years. I don't know. It's a thing. 71, yeah. Thank you, Break. It just was weird to me that he's honestly that close to my age. Now I do live near Memphis, and I've seen Jerry Lawler out a few times. Jerry Lawler was real. I mean, I don't know how big he was to those of you who watched the WWE, right? But he was Memphis wrestling. This was back before, WWF existed. It did exist, and they had the WWF magazine, but Mid-South Wrestling, um, Jerry Lawler, as I find out later, was a big owner in that. I thought he was just a big celebrity, but he was in. They did a lot of stuff. That was my growing up. My youth was those were the wrestlers I watched, were the ones out of Memphis. Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Fabulous Ones. Hacksaw Jim Duggar, Jake the Snake Roberts came around for a while. He just a lot of anyway. Lawler was I mean, he owned the market, and if you're not familiar with Memphis wrestling, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I always felt sorry for him. It was David somebody, and anytime a new wrestler came to town, old David was the one that got to wrestle him. And David did win a few matches, but basically he was just the guy that everybody comes to town and whoop up on. I felt kind of bad for the guy. I'm like, as I was growing up, I'm like, man, his poor kids must be sitting there going, all my dad does is get beat up on TV. It's also amazing when you find out how little these guys make when they're not top tier stars. I mean, some of these guys, were making $25 a night with no real insurance and had to get themselves to the matches. Fun train. We do have fish worth catching. We are near this place. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Mississippi River. If it's not salmon, it's not worth fishing for. Well, I will disagree to disagree on that one. I'm going to agree to disagree. I mean, I know you Pacific Northwesters like your salmon, and congratulations to you. And I'm sorry that you don't have giant blue cats, big flatheads, and stuff like that. Salmonoid, yeah, okay, fine. Salmonoid, kind of like humanoid. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, we have some trout around here. I don't like them. Not a fan of trout. They stock some rainbows around here in the winter just so that they can die during the summer if nobody catches and eats them, or the bass don't eat them. But to each his own. I mean, some people don't like catching catfish. Some people don't like catching bass. Some people don't like a lot of different things. And that's just the way it is. Doesn't sound like much fun. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, some of the park ponds around here, little park ponds, and I think it's, they get to charge an extra $10 for a trout stamp. Now, over in East Tennessee, and even over in Arkansas, they have naturally reproducing trout populations, but they stock 8 to 10 inch rainbow trouts here. And I bought the stamp one year, went out, caught a limit, came home and cooked them. I was like, yeah, no thanks. Northern Maine. So Maine appears to be a very beautiful state, and I would love to go lobstering in Maine because, well, Maine lobsters. I'll tell you what I love more than anything is saltwater fishing. I do that down in the Florida Panhandle, and I really, really enjoy that. Yes, some of the species in warm water can be riddled with worms. Yeah, stripers don't come this far south. I'm sorry, they don't go as far as Florida south. That's what I'm trying to say. I used to catch stripers in Lake Texoma on the Oklahoma-Texas border, and they actually had a self-sustaining population because the water was brackish enough. And now, I mean, I hear people catch stripers in the Tennessee River and the Mississippi River down here. I have not personally caught them, but I was surprised that they can they'll hang out and they can they can take the Texas border, but can't take the Florida Gulf. But then I guess they would have to get really far south. But I always thought they would come like down the Mississippi. So I was again kind of surprised that there aren't really any striper in the Gulf that I'm aware of. We don't get northern pike down here really. We get the chain pickerel, which is like a little version of it basically. And we do get muskie. I've never caught one. They get him over in East Tennessee, I know. What other fun species? I know we have, the East Tennessee, because it has mountains, they have streams that are naturally trout producing, self-sustaining trout populations there. Trout's just not my thing. Of course, I've also never hooked into a big one because the ones I fish for are stocked, except for near Gruge Ferry. Now, Gruge Ferry over in Arkansas, they stock the Little Red River below Gruge Ferry. And Gruge Ferry has a dam that's about close to 300 feet deep, and the water comes from more than 100 feet deep. So the water that enters the Little Red River is cold and basically has all the native species that were there left, and trout is about all that hangs out there because the water is so doggone cold from being 100 feet down. Yeah, the muskie here is, they call it the fish of 1,000 casts because apparently you got to work hard for them. Although Angie Fishing went muskie fishing in, I think it was Middle Tennessee recently, on her kayak with her husband, and her took the kayaks down there, and she caught 3 or 4 of them, and they look like they fight like the Dickens. So with catfish, yes, that's going to be a bait and wait type situation. I did bass fish 20 years ago, and now panfish. I'll fish for crappie and bluegill and those kind of things. Well, you throw little spinner baits and stuff like that. I'm not sure where in Middle Tennessee they were. And for the most part, when I go to Florida, I do the bait and wait method as well. I get the rods out, throw a pompano rig or a Carolina rig, and use shrimp, salted shrimp, fiddler crabs, crab quarters from blue crabs, fish bites, stuff like that. Well, Scotty, see, because as the Bible says, we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That is why I admit my sins. Actually, I enjoyed my bass fishing days. I fished with a group, I don't know if they're still around, Century Bass Club out of Dallas. And there were some really, really good bass anglers there. It was a BASS affiliated club, and it was a draw situation where, the boaters went in one pool and non-boaters in the other, and you got paired with whoever you got paired with. And, it was kind of a lottery system. And there's one guy that he was a Carolina rig specialist. If he was fishing, he was throwing a Carolina rig. There's another one that used what he called the chicken rig, which is basically a split shot rig. One was really good with spinnerbaits, crankbait guy, worm guys, so you could, as a non-boater getting paired with these guys, you could learn a lot. Yeah, I've never caught a mackerel. I haven't caught a lot in saltwater yet. I think the only target species, well, I caught a permit. I caught a sea trout that was short. I've caught some sand trout. The only thing I've eaten so far was the permit. It was funny because when I went down there the first time, my fiance's parents were like, "Oh, you're going to catch us dinner?" I was like, "Yeah." I did not. first time I was down there, my fiance and I went out with a guide and a beach fishing guide. And basically, I just wanted somebody to go with that knew something more than I did, which didn't take much. I had never been saltwater fishing. I had tried, watching videos. It is amazing how hard this 80-pound mono is to cinch down. Anyway, I need to start thinking about what I'm doing here. I guess these will be Carolina rigs. So I'm not using three-way swivels. And it was nice to, use somebody else's equipment, get out there and kind of get, whatever we caught, have somebody there that knew what it was, because, if you've been I've been freshwater fishing pretty much all my life, and so saltwater fish are, well, they're foreign to me. I ain't gonna lie. They're different. They fight a lot harder for anybody that's never been down there or been to saltwater, because there's not many places for these fish to hide. You got the bays and the estuaries and the intercoastal waterway and stuff like that that's going to have less wave action. But a lot of these fish don't spend a lot of time in those areas. They're out in the surf. And the only break they get is behind the sandbars. Otherwise, they're sitting there doing their thing. A wave comes in and they got to come back up. So they spend a lot of their time doing a lot of swimming. As such, they have a lot of muscle. Let's see what I got here. I may have put them. Nope. What are these? These are a three-way swivel, not the one I was looking for, though. There are people who are organized, and then there is me. Look in here, see if I've got a swivel. Nope. I have a ton of rigs in here. Oh, well. Let that sit. Let me be right back. Don't go anywhere. Over here and see what I can dig into. Well, that was interesting. I usually know where my stuff is, so sort of. Today I'm coming up short. Oh, well. Scotty will probably get a kick out of this. I went over to look at my swivel area. I've got 4 more bags of these. These are those. There's 200 in each one. These are these. They call them a number 6 ball bearing swivel. They're rated for like 167, 169 pounds. They're some strong swivels. Anyway, pretty sure nobody cares. I'm just looking to see if I can find. I don't know what I did with them, so I'll use these swivels instead. Oop, I'm on top messages. Let me fix that. Scotty, how was your fishing today, buddy? Hope you had an amazing day. Well, that's an interesting little thing to come out of a pack of swivels, just a random piece of metal that, oh well. Hey, Gigability, 50-cent swivels. Those are not 50-cent swivels, my man. Stainless steel ball bearing swivels. A nickel a piece. 200 for $10. There's a link in my store. If they're still on sale. If not, they're $20, but still. Really good deal. Hey, NJ Guard, welcome in, my friend. Oh, absolutely a bargain. And I put them on my pull tester and got up to 164 pounds before. Yeah, I puckered and quit. Because my rig is rated for like up to 110 pounds. So when it got up that high, I'm like, oh, no. Because I was doing it with a steel leader. And one on each end of the steel leader. And you know, when something on this is going to pop, and I even double crimped them. I mean, I wanted these things to break. I wanted to test them, and they didn't. And I knew that when there was that much pent up energy there, it was not going to go well for me when it did let loose. So let's see. Let's tie some more of these. So how is fishing out there, Gig? What's biting these days? I'm trying to talk Queen Gorgeous into going down during fall break down to Pensacola. We'll see if that happens or not. Told her I wanted either fall break, Thanksgiving, or Christmas, and would prefer, of all of those, to have fall break. In the hopes that, you know, we would have 2 weekends sandwiched in there, you know, and could stay more than, 5 days. Let's see. Get this knot straightened out and folded over on itself a little bit. There we go. Dirty water, very tough, 50 pounds of whiting. Either that or it was a 50-pound whiting and you caught the biggest kingfish known to man. Yeah, I mean, when you got dirty water, you usually have two choices in what you're going to catch: hardhead or sail cats. Yep. That is what I have learned. And it's really why. So the intracoastal, as I don't know, you may or may not know, at least where I fish on the intracoastal, is kind of dirty. It's not really clean water at all. And so I catch a lot of hardheads and sail cats. And I'll have to, sorry, it's my DJI action telling me it's tired of life. I have to see if Ashley's mom believes in breeding fish or not. Because I'm not opposed to keeping a bunch of sail cats and having a fish fry. On the subject of beautiful women I don't deserve, hello, sunshine. How you doing, baby? You party. Yeah, I know. I said the same thing to Scotty, but, I'm a two-timer. Scotty's a handsome man. That's all I can say. He my cutie pie. Man, these are some stout 12-aught hooks. These almost feel like 2X. Anyway. So yeah, my game plan, if we go down during fall break, you're leaving the gym. I bet the gym is sad. But they got tired of catcalling you the entire time. She is looking good, people. I mean, she looked good already, but she's looking. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my foot out of my mouth. I'm just gonna shut up right here and now. Um, what was I gonna say? Sure, it was important. Yeah, like these 8/0s. I mean, they're not nearly as thick of a wire, which I mean, I realize the wire gauge is going to go up a little bit. But so my game plan when I go down, if it's during fall break, which is in October, I think, to hit the surf, and I don't know what's going to be prevalent there at the time. But I can do the standard, throw some shrimp out there and see what hits it. Never had a Spanish mackerel. I don't know if I'm really interested in having one. I would like to, of course, catch some redfish, black drum. Wouldn't even mind getting a hold of a jack crevalle or 12. I know they're not really something people eat, but I can give you a good fight. And if you're throwing them back, it doesn't matter. Wouldn't mind catching a shark that I can keep. Many eons ago, there was a restaurant called Chevy's. And I don't remember if Chevy Chase had a hand in that or not. I want to say he was one of the partners, but I could be wrong. And their claim to fame was no cans in our kitchen, but they serve salsa, so I don't really know how that worked out for them. But anyway, but I go there for lunch, and sometimes they'd have shark steak special. Like, it's been a long time, $5.99, $6.99, somewhere in there. And I liked shark. I don't know what kind of shark it was. At that point, all sharks were Jaws, And I'm trying to learn my sharks. Apparently, nurse sharks you don't want to eat because they just don't really taste good because I think they're bottom feeders, if I remember correctly. Lemon sharks you can't keep in Florida. Hoping for either a black tip or a spinner or another one of those Atlantic sharpness. Hey, Marshall, I'm glad you love fishing, man. You are in the right spot. I mean, we're tying rigs, but, at some point I'm going to go fishing again. I used to go out in pretty much any weather to go fishing, and now I'm like, I'm old and tired, and, I'm going to get up at the crack of noon and go out. Oh, it's too hot. I ain't going out there. Yeah. In my younger days, I didn't care if it was raining. I didn't even care if it was lightning. What's the best piece of advice I can give a young guy? Growing up is a trap. Don't do it. Being an adult is not what it's cracked up to be. I cannot explain that enough. Enjoy being a kid. There's no reason to. We spend all of our lives looking for what's coming next and trying to get to that next step and get to that next step until you hit around 40, 45, 50, and then you're like, the next step is retirement, quickly followed by death. Enjoy your younger years. Take chances when you're young and you don't have a family yet. It's okay to go broke when you're single. As long as you've got a fallback plan, even if that fallback plan is living in your childhood room that is now your mom's quilting room. Now, if you want general advice on fishing when you're younger, the internet has opened up so much. There is a wealth of information out there. The problem is there's a lot of bad information out there too. There's a lot of people that are trying to make a name for themselves any way they can. and they don't validate the crap that they tell you before they tell you. For instance, you know, the Palomar knot is 100% knot. No, it's not. It's not. It is not. And I validated that by testing it myself. It's not a bad knot. Don't get me wrong. It's just not the end all be all of knots. It is a great knot to learn, an easy knot to learn. Anyway, yeah, I don't really understand why lemon shark is now a protected species. I'm thinking it's shark fin soup. I think was their reason for that. But anyway, but as far as fishing goes, you can spend as much money as you want on gear, and a lot of it's not going to make you a better angler. Now, that's not to say that, you know, having a whopper plopper in your bass arsenal is a bad idea. But, you know, some of these people are spending $100 on glide baits. I'm not casting $100 anything. I try not to have more than $100 in my rig if I can get away with it. Hey, bass fishing 336. Now, I understand there's the amateur level or the hobbyist angle, and then there's the professional level. And professional level, I realize you got to pull out all the tricks. But I grew up fishing Zebco 202s in a farm pond, and I wore out a number of Zebco 202s. I fished. I swear to you, it was almost every day. Well, now, William, so marijuana in Tennessee is still illegal, and it's the devil's lettuce, and we're all going to die. It's a gateway drug to blah blah yada yada yada. You know, that's one thing I was really hoping Biden was going to do before he got out of office, was actually, you know, just legalize it nationally and be done with it. And he did tell the FDA to reevaluate it, and their reevaluation was still dog crap. It should be legal, in my opinion. If alcohol is illegal, it should be legal. That's it. If alcohol is legal, weed should be legal. That's my stance. You didn't ask for that. You asked if I smoked it while I fishing. No. For one, I'm going to be driving wherever I fish, and driving under the influence of anything is a bad idea. The other thing is, and this is where it really gets ugly with marijuana, is it can stay in your system. They say up to 30 days. It can stay up to 8 weeks, possibly even more. So let's say you're in a car wreck. They do a toxicology on you. Well, he's got marijuana in his system. Well, from when? Right? So the short version is no, I don't smoke weed while I'm out fishing. If I failed a drug test at work, I would get fired. So I don't. And that's going to be really interesting if it ever becomes legal federally, because even in the states where it's legal, it's still federally illegal. And so what that means is it can be used as discrimination, and, you know, you can still get fired at work in Colorado for having weed in your system because it's still considered federally disallowed. And yeah, anyway. What really bothers me is the fact that it has medicinal purposes. It's amazing the plethora of conditions that it can help with: pain, anxiety. I mean, those are two of the biggest pharmaceutical categories. I mean, if they could figure out a way to make it lower blood pressure, we'd all be in trouble. Yeah, I mean, it really, you know, the old joke was always, oh, my glaucoma. But it helps people. And, you know, if you get a little joy in your life from your medicine, oh, well. And Memphis is a strange little town. The city of Memphis actually tried to decriminalize it. And the state came back and said, no. Well, ATV123, how are you doing, whippersnapper? I hope you're just having a fabulous day. Is that the best you could come up with was Hey Gramps? Give your mom her phone back. She needs to get on dating sites and find you a better male role model in your life. Or you could just stick around, act like a human being. You might actually have some fun in here. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. But, if you want to be a dumbass, then I'll treat you like a dumbass. So, ball's in your court there, genius. Another rig down. You don't have any Western at Walmart stickers. I don't know what a Western at Walmart sticker is. But since you're a Western outlaw, cool. Hello, Bush. We'll call you Bush. Seems like a good name for you. Well, thank you, William. I'm not going to tell you that I'm the smartest tool in the shed or the sharpest knife in the drawer or the anyway, a Western Outlaw sticker. Well, I don't have a Western Outlaw sticker. Billy, I can ramble on. Where was I? So one of the things that I like to do is find good deals on fishing equipment. So if you like deals on fishing equipment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff. I don't post it very often because, something going on sale for $2 off doesn't matter to me, right? The last one I posted about was probably a week or more ago, and it was these swivels for a nickel a piece for ball bearing swivels that are rated for over 160 pounds. Good deals on reels, good deals on rods, good deals on some fishing adjacent equipment. It could be, camping stuff. It could be fans. It could be lights. It could be YouTube-y stuff like, cameras and the DJI Mic Mini and things like that. So I try to cover a lot of stuff. I do like my PC Fun reels. I did announce, I'll announce it again. There'll be a little video coming out, but some of you may actually care about this. And that is that the Chaos Pro will have a size 60 coming out next summer, according to PC Fun. And the Chaos Pro 50 is going to have a updated model coming out in mid to late September that is going to have a louder bait clicker, and I don't know what else. I'll have to ask about that. Sinister Games. What's the best way to get into fishing for a beginner? Well, so the first question I have to ask you is, are you sure you like fishing? Because if you're not sure you like fishing, the best way to get into it is to go to Walmart and get a Zipco 33 combo. It is going to be an easy reel to cast. It's going to be 20 to 25 bucks. It's not going to break the bank. If you decide that fishing isn't for you, you haven't gone and blown a bunch of money on equipment. And I personally believe everybody should own a Zebco 33, even if it just sits in your garage, because there will be a time when somebody will want to go fishing with you who has never gone fishing or doesn't know how to fish, and the only thing they can figure out how to do is cast a spin cast. And you hand them your Zebco 33 and off you go. Now, if you do get a combo, any combo from anywhere, first thing you do is you strip the line off and you put on good quality line. Hey, Venture America. Sunshine goes, somebody's already got gear. That was her way. But then, of course, she, didn't realize that she was going to have to, be engaged to me to do it. But um, you want to learn to tie a couple of knots. The improved clinch knot is the first knot I would learn. The Palomar is easier to tie and actually a little bit stronger, but it's not universal. Sometimes you have to, if you want to tie it on, like if I wanted to tie this on with a Palomar knot right now, I'd have to pull all of my rig through it. And a lot of people just aren't ready for that. So that's why I say improved clinch knot. It's the first thing I would learn. And that's for hook to swivel, to everything except circle hooks where you're going to want to snell it. And I actually have a video on my channel of the first 2 knots you need to learn for catfishing. And that's it. Well, 7HN Fishing, thank you. Grandson or granddaughter probably. Okay, you have a Cabela's gift card for $150. Okay, Sinister, what do you want to? What kind of fishing do you want to do? A better reel is not going to make you a better fisher. A better rod will give you more sensitivity. Now, a better reel will give you better drag and all that kind of stuff. It will help you be a better fisherman, but it will not make you better. Fly fishing, I can't help you. GP Customs, I don't know you. Fly fishing is out of my wheelhouse. There's a lot to fly fishing. Just I will tell you that I have no business giving you advice on how to go fly fishing. There are people out there way more knowledgeable. There are flies out there way more knowledgeable than me when it comes to fly fishing. So for bass, okay, now bass is cool. So bass, what did you say? $150. Yeah. Do you know how to throw a bait caster yet? If you don't know how to throw a bait caster, that's going to make it easier, which means you're going to be in a spinning reel. I really like the Daiwa Regal LT. A spinning reel, it's probably $60, $70. You would go in probably, I don't think they make it in 2,500. I think they make it, I know they make it 1,000, I assume 2,000, 3,000. You want to get either 2,000 or 3,000, and because they're deep spool, you'd probably want to get a 2,000, honestly. He taught you how to cast and how to tie the proper knots. Okay. And then the rods. Yeah. So the ugly stick is a decent rod, but it's not the best at anything. The big quality of an ugly stick rod is it's virtually indestructible. You can get a decent amount of sensitivity at like a GX2, but still get a lot of bend and a lot of flex out of it and not have to worry about, the more expensive a rod is that's made out of graphite, the more brittle it can become. You get more sensitivity, but it's more brittle. So if you bend it too far, it breaks. And, when it's a $300 or $400 rod, it hurts. Now, there are times when a combo makes a lot of sense. You can check out like Academy, Bass Pro. I don't trust Walmart much on rods and reels, not because I think they carry bad equipment, but because so many idiots handle it and will steal parts off of stuff or change the rod that it's on so that you're getting an inferior rod to what you're paying for a reel, one of the two, right? Hey, Funk Lord. Hey, Bullfrog. Appreciate you guys subbing. Yeah, well, Cabela's and Bass Pro are owned by the same company. Bass Pro owns both of them. Cabela's used to be its own company, but Bass Pro, old Johnny Morse bought them out, and yeah. But on the combos, a lot of times, and I haven't done bass fishing in 20 years, so you have to, understand that. Um, Back in the day, um, they would sell a Shimano Corrado for like, I don't know, $99 or so, and they couldn't discount it because of minimum advertised pricing, which means that Shimano says this is the minimum you can advertise this reel for, and if you want to deviate from that, we're not going to sell to you anymore. Although you can get exceptions, you have to get their permission to deviate from that, but you can throw stuff in. So they would throw in an IMX or an IM6, IM8 rod with it. Graphite bass rod, decent Bass Pro brand, nothing, wasn't a bad rod. So you could get a combo back then for $100. Getting a good bait caster right now for $100, I don't know about. Fishing Braxton, my favorite bait caster reel. Well, for what type of fishing? For catfishing, I really, really, really like the PC Fun Alios 400. Now it's about $129 on normal sales. It's $149 on their basic sale, but it goes. I've gotten them down to like saw them recently for 114. It's a lot of reel. Now this is for catfishing. This is for saltwater fishing. It's a big reel. Holds a lot of line. Has a bait clicker, magnetic brake, level one, the whole thing. Big giant power handle. Now they also make the Alios 300. Now the 300 it still has more capacity than your typical, like Shimano Corrado 200 size. But it doesn't have a bait clicker, and it does have a flipping switch on it, which is weird. Which is just you push the thumb bar, and instead of having to turn the handle, you can just push this little button over on the side, and it'll re-engage the spool. Bass, I'm a Shimano boy on that. I like my Shimano Corrado. I can't get away from that. Now, I tell you that because I like a low profile bait caster, which is why I really like the Alios 400. But I also I don't do a lot of bass fishing. I have not looked at bass fishing reels in a long time as far as what's new out there. I've got a Corrado, I think K now. Back when I was doing them, they were in the B series. There was a Lose, like a BB1 or something like that somebody had recently that I saw. Now it was new, so it was super buttery smooth and all that good stuff. And PC Fun makes other bait casters. It's just not in my the style of fishing I do anymore. I'm going to be using spinning reels for bass, or not bass, bluegill, crappie, that kind of stuff, skipjacks, or I can use one of my Corrados for skipjack, or the Alios 300 for skipjack. Anyway, I digress. I'm not really qualified to talk about bass bait casters anymore. It's just out of my. Wow, ATV 123 took me from being grandpa to daddy. Well, apparently you do have some daddy issues. Maybe your mom will find a male role model in your life. I don't know. Hey, Fishing with Braxton. The Shimano SLX. I have not used it. Now, my understanding, the SLX is the computer controlled or the chip controlled spinning. Years ago, I want to say it was the Calcutta. It was a round bait caster. It was the first one that they came out with that. Oh no, that's not the SLX. That's the DC. I'm sorry. Forget what I said. The SLX. I don't know. Hey, Skeeter. Shimano, at least from what I remember, is going to be a centrifugal braking system. Daiwa tends to lean towards the magnetic brake. I found that I like the magnetic brakes better. because the way the centrifugal brake works is the faster the spool spins, the more the brakes come out and engage against the race and slow it down. But it doesn't stop it. So when your bait hits the water, you can get backlash a lot easier. The magnetic, and I don't know why it works this way, but the magnetic seems to be less prone to backlashing. And magnetic is weird because, and it didn't make any sense to me. I had to actually go look it up because, well, the spool's aluminum. The reel is usually aluminum or plastic. Those are not magnetic metals, but a non-ferrous metal moving through the magnetic field, it slows it down. Apparently there's a trick you can do, like take a copper pipe, throw a magnet down the center, and it will take a long time to get down it, even though there's nothing magnetic in there. It's the magnetic field. It's fun. Random stuff when you get bored. Unc, can we see your big fish? Well, I don't know if that's a euphemism or not, because I don't know if it looks like I'm out fishing right now. Okay, I'll show you my big fish. Here it is. Here's my big fish. And let me lip it for you. There you go. Oh, I don't want to break its jaw. I'm going to like that. It's a monster. I'm not sure why people want to call me Gramps and Daddy and Unc and stuff like that, but hey, you know, whatever floats your boats, kids. Let's see. Do we have any fun sound effects I can use? No. Turner Fishing is in the house. And if you don't know who Turner Fishing is, that just tells me that you've been living your life correctly. How you doing, Turner? Oh, looky there. See, I can have parties too, Turner. Woo! Turner Fishing is Crappie Man jigs. And if you like hand-tied jigs or really fancy soft plastics, he makes them. It's got something he calls a core shot, which is really awesome. He shoots the body of the soft plastic, has a hole in the center, shoots a different color in the center, and sometimes it'll be, you know, there'll be a tail that's out of the same color as the center. It's like it's not laminated, it's I'm not sure. I mean, it is laminated, but it's the core is surrounded by the secondary color. He has some really cool colors out there. That's crappiemanjigs.com. You can go to his website and see some of the colors, not all of them, because he hadn't put them all up there. But he does Cinco looking baits. He does crappie jigs. He's got some really cool stuff. I saw 351 Cleveland, who is or was in the chat, fishing with some of his electric chicken core shots, and I had to order some. And which reminds me of the question that I ask him at least 3 times per day: has my order shipped? Noah, I appreciate you being here, my friend. I do. And I do think I remember you being here. But to me, giving moderator status is like giving the keys to your house. And I gotta know you a whole lot better before you get the keys to my house, my man. Being a moderator is not the status symbol people think it is. It's work. I mean, you're there to make sure that anybody who steps out of line gets their soul crushed. But you also have to know the crowd that comes in, and what is allowed and what isn't, because I kicked somebody's brother out of chat one day. Didn't know it was his brother. I mean, I was quickly forgiven because, like, because he was trolling his brother, and we do troll each other. Fun Fishing Adventures, for instance, trolls the shit out of me, and I troll the shit out of him. Pompano teasers. So pompano teasers are made. They're like a banana jig, is what they're typically called. And then you put feathers and stuff on it. Yeah. So yes, I guarantee you Turner could, because he does pour his own lead. I mean, you have to get a new mold. He'd have to get new, larger hooks. But if you look up Buccaneer jigs, they're a brand that makes those. Turner, not as good as you'd make them, but anyway. Turner tends to stay with the freshwater stuff. The thing is, he's got a good business. He truly does. Yeah, Goofy jigs. Exactly. There you go. They're also called Goofy jigs. Um, he has a good business. He has a good following. He's building his business more and more every day. But I don't know if Pompano jigs would be in his wheelhouse. But that's for him to answer, not me. Hey, 351 Cleveland is still here. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to 351 Cleveland and you like crappie fishing, you need to subscribe to him. That man flat out knows where to find him. And if you want to subscribe to Crappie Man Jigs, I would absolutely suggest it. And the problem is, he does a lot of live streams during the day, well, day and night actually, when he's working on stuff, which makes you overlook, or made me overlook, his long form content. Long form being not shorts and not lives. The man has got some information out there. Each season, where to find the fish, what to look for, and he's not like a lot of people out there that like drop you a little morsel in a video, and then you got to watch like 50 videos to get any idea what the hell he's talking about. Fly hooks would be too small. These are usually probably closer to a 1/0 or 2/0 hook. They may say size 2 for saltwater, but they're still big, fairly big hooks. They might be a size 2, but they're still stout hooks. Anyway, yeah, but they're like saltwater stout. They're not like cricket hooks. What I'm trying to say. But he really puts some information out there, and he, like he talked about. I watched one of his summer fishing videos, and he's like, "Okay, so go to your brush pile. If you don't see any fish on your sonar, move. They ain't there. Go to the next one. You may catch 1 or 2 fish and be done on that brush pile and need to go to the next one. So you need to know where a bunch of brush piles are, and you just work this whole route. And when you're done, you go back and you work it again. So don't sit there and spend 2 hours on one brush pile. And I fished brush piles wrong. I didn't know it, because the way I've always fished for crappie is you drop it down to the bottom and you reel up some. And his take on it is, you want to be above the top of the brush pile, a foot or 2 above the top of the brush pile. You're not trying to get the fish inside the brush pile. You're trying to get the ones that are actively eating. Again, and I'm not saying I was ever a good crappie fisherman, but yeah. Yeah, and you can, Billy, you can reach him at I forgot the email address. Copymanjigs@gmail.com. There we go. Copymanjigs@gmail.com. I knew there was one there. Um, but yeah, he puts out some really good content. Because there's different types of channels. There's educational fishing channels teaching you how to fish, and then there are entertainment channels of watch me fish. And I try to be more educational, but I also try to. I can be educational about the technical stuff. The fish catching is more my entertainment side, which is more skunking, but that's okay. Yeah, you say they're easy to make, Billy. I actually don't laugh at me. I can laugh at me. Rad Reeling Fishing, and one of the saltwater channels I watch, and he's like, here's how you make the teasers. Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I lied to you, Turner. The goofy jig is one piece of it. The teaser is a different piece. The teaser is smaller. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking the goofy jig, and no, it's two pieces. You got the goofy jig, which is the actual one that does the majority of the hooking, or is supposed to, and then you get the little teaser fly. You're right. I'm wrong. My bad. Anyway. I tried making some of those teasers. I even ordered the green wig off of Amazon. And there's so much hair on there that I can't even get anything tied because it just gets rolled around each other. So I gave up. I mean, it looked like a 2-year-old tied them. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't use, obviously, don't use those type of rigs, but yeah, the teaser is a smaller hook with hair on it. Because you can find the goofy jigs, but the teasers seem to be hard to find. Yeah. Anyway, what I get for thinking. Not my forte. Oh, let's see. What else exciting has been going on in the world? Boy, the Epstein stuff. I heard probably the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time was Pete Sessions talking about, well, if Trump were in there, then Biden would have exposed it because he didn't say it out loud, but that the Biden administration would have absolutely released it. The part that he didn't say it out loud is because both parties are absolute assholes towards each other, and the truth doesn't matter. Any lie will do. Anything to discredit the other side. So anyway, Mr. Gunn, I do both and bank fishing. Also have a kayak. I keep wanting to get out there on the kayak. The problem is my lifestyle and fishing are not congruent, because I like to go out Friday and Saturday night with my beautiful fiance, listen to music and dance, which means that I don't want to get up early Saturday or Sunday morning to go fishing, and it's hot out there. Hard heads like red teasers. Interesting. Hey, Bricloptic. So the boat that I have is a Deep V, Tracker Pro Guide B175. Kayak I've got is an Old Town 106 Minn Kota Sportsman. The problem is Memphis is a hard area to fish. I've talked about it before, but I'll say it again. A lot of your areas have reservoirs, which is where their drinking water comes from. Memphis is on a gigantic sand aquifer that extends down to Louisiana and up north from here either. It purifies our water. We have some of the best drinking water in the country, honestly. So because we've got this gigantic well, for lack of a better word, that has good, clean drinking water in it. We don't need reservoirs for our water supply. Like when I lived in Dallas, they had Lake Lavon, you had Lake Ray Hubbard, Lake Ray Roberts, you had Lake Grapevine, you had Lake Louisville. I mean, just all of these lakes that were large, and they were sources of drinking water or reservoirs for drinking water. Here, even the reservoirs we have are more for flood control. But so the bank of the Mississippi is mostly privately owned. The bank of the Mississippi is not an easy bank to fish because literally in Memphis, our high and low water mark for the year can be 50 feet apart because there are no dams on the Mississippi itself until Alton, Illinois. There is one on the Ohio River as it enters the Mississippi River. So the Tennessee hits the Ohio, and then there's a dam before it hits the Mississippi, and that's up in Cairo, Illinois. And that's still hour and a half, 2 hours away. So water just comes down, and it comes down as it wants, when it wants, and how it wants. It's about 6 mile an hour current typically on the Mississippi down here. So the Mississippi River is a hard river to fish on it, in it, around it, whatever. But there aren't a lot of bank spots that are accessible to the public. And even the ones that theoretically are accessible, publicly owned, are not easy to get to. Some of the lakes that we do have around the area have been bought, and houses all around it. And like Garner Lake over in Lakeland or Arlington, one of the two, don't dare, they will call the sheriff on you. There's no public entry. We've got a couple of lakes that are owned by TWRA that are around the Memphis area, but they're no wake lakes. People, so I mean, it keeps the jet fleas off of there, keeps the skiers out and all that good stuff. But you know, your bass fishermen like to jet from one spot to another. So there's just not a lot of good fishing areas in Memphis. And Memphis City Parks Department does not allow fishing. So everybody, and Memphis is a huge city as far as city, size, geographical size. It's a big city. So anybody that wants to fish has to come out to the park ponds in the municipalities to fish. So they get overfished. There you go. Hey, Andy, how you doing, Fishing Hoosier? Another one of those crappie fisherman guys out there. Let's see. But I'm going to have fun on those two TWRA lakes. And the other problem is, so once you buy your fishing license, you have to buy another license for the TWRA lakes, which are actually more expensive than your regular fishing license. There's that. And then, of course, you can go over that. From Memphis, you can go over to Arkansas. There's a couple of lakes over there that aren't too far away. And you can go down into Mississippi, although the Lake Arcabutla, they had problems with the dam and have drained it. It's going to be drained for damn near 10 years. They killed that off. But there are 3 other lakes down there within, maybe a couple hours away. So constructive things. Well, now that's a big thing. Now I'm about a little over 2 hours away from Pickwick Dam. So I do go out to Pickwick a couple times, or have been out there a couple of times. I had a good trip the first time when I went for skipjack, and taken Ashley back a couple of times, and we didn't get into skipjack yet. I don't think she's caught one yet. I think I picked up a couple the second trip, anyway. But and of course we have the Asian carp down here. So that's my excuse of why I don't catch fish. I need to, a lot of like the Tennessee River, like Pickwick Lake, which is part of Tennessee River, and Lake Chickamauga, and Watts Bar, and the Tennessee River system that has dams all through it. they have houses that are built. And so they have to keep the water level somewhat normalized. It may go down, but it can't go up too far, or you start flooding people out. Now, it does happen from time to time because there's only so much water that can flow through a river, as they tragically found out down in Texas recently, which is interesting because actually, when I was a kid, I floated the Guadalupe River. Got sunburned. Oh, bad. It was horrible. Like, spot about this big on each one of my shins that the skin came off. Anyway, nobody asked about that. So those are more normalized. But the Tennessee River and below the Pickwick Dam, which is actually north of the Pickwick Dam, because the river comes down through East Tennessee, down into Alabama, and then back up through Pickwick, and then back up to Kentucky. So at that point, it's actually flowing north. I would say it was probably 3 mile an hour current. It was when they had the dam, when they had generators running. And those are all TVA dams, so they're power generation. Anyway, I've said about too much and haven't really used a lot of words, didn't say a whole lot. Did get some rigs tied, which is cool. Keeps my hands occupied, keeps my brain a little occupied. But Ashley is surely home by now and has gotten her kids dinner and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'll give her a call and see what she's doing. I appreciate everybody watching, appreciate the thumbs up and all that fun stuff. Please do like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And possibly get out there and go fishing this weekend. But man, is it hot as Hades around here. Hope you all have a wonderful time. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.